from Hassan Nasrallah happening this afternoon as well, and bring you analysis of it, a significant one. We're expecting to hear some key statements from him. But let's take you to Israel now and talk to Brandon Friedman, who is the Director of Research at the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle East and African Studies at Tel Aviv University. Good to have you with us. Just hearing the concerns there in Lebanon of what might happen next after yesterday's strike. How do you believe this changes things? How does this in any way further the risk of some kind of regional escalation?
Thanks, Lucy. Let me make three brief points in response to your report. First, this was an attack on Hamas, not Hizballah, so I don't think it necessarily changes the rules of engagement between Israel and Hizballah. Second, I don't think it was Israel that violated Lebanese sovereignty. It's Hizballah that's violated Lebanese sovereignty continuously for at least since 2006, but probably for at least 2 decades prior. And thirdly, I think it's important to remember that under U.S. Security Council Resolution 1701 in 2006, the Security Council resolution that ended the 2006 Second Lebanon War, Hizballah was supposed to be disarmed. That didn't happen. And so Lebanon never actually succeeded in asserting its sovereignty over Hizballah. And today we are witnessing, or we continue to witness the consequences of that more than 15 years later.
There will be those, of course, the government in Lebanon as well, who say this is an assault on them. It happened in their capital city, on their territory. What other concerns do you think in Israel about the fact that this could widen now, and particularly as we wait to hear from Hassan Nasrallah this afternoon, and potentially Iran's reaction as well?
Sure, I think Israel's concerned about escalation, but the fact of the matter is there's thousands of Israelis have been displaced from their homes in the north of Israel along Lebanon's southern border since October 7th, a situation that's frankly unsustainable. Hizballah has been carrying out daily attacks across Israel's border, violation of Israeli sovereignty. And I think that, for at least the last 3 weeks, we've heard a chorus of Israeli officials express concerns that the situation is deteriorating such on Israel's northern border that something will need to be done. I tend to see the attack yesterday as in the context of Israel's war against Hamas and Gaza. It was an attack on Saleh al-Arouri, who is a Hamas official. But certainly how Hizballah reacts to that attack will dictate how things evolve moving forward. And I think there is a concern and heightened sense of readiness and preparation in Israel that this could escalate.
Can we bring you back to politics in Israel now, Brandon? And can I just ask you, what are the chances of any kind of consensus at the moment in the coalition government about what might happen when the war ends?
Sure. I think a lot's made about the disagreements, and I think there are disagreements. I certainly wouldn't want to paper them over, but I think there's a general consensus across the political spectrum that there has to be a role for both the international community and principally the United States, a role for those Arab countries who have proven themselves to be partners of Israel in the past. And I think there is, and we saw this with respect to a letter that was published in the Saudi press by Israel, the head of Israel's National Security Council, a willingness to incorporate a reformed Palestinian Authority into the civil affairs governance of Gaza for the day after. So I think it's going to be a multi-layered approach, and Israel obviously will want to have a security say in terms of its borders. It will be a multi-layered approach that includes international component, a regional component, and certainly a Palestinian component with Israeli security concerns accounted for. I think on that there's a general broad consensus. Obviously, there's some disagreements having to do with the nature of the current governing coalition. But Israeli politics are dynamic. They may change between now and the time the day after comes around. And I think it's important for the public to be aware of that.
Brandon Friedman, thank you for joining us.